Hi guys, so welcome to Charlie Johnson's top 5 exercise series. Today we are talking about quads. So quads are probably one of my strongest body parts personally. I am very genetically gifted, although a lot of that's come from the fact that I like squatting, lifting heavy. So if you want to get big legs, you need to lift heavy, and that takes on to the first exercise to get big quads is the barbell squat. Now personally, I favour the wider foot stance here. The stance and technique generally tends to depend on your setup and how you're built. If you're built similar to me, I'm 5'11", 6 foot with shoes, then you'll probably want to be looking maybe sort of wider foot stance. If you're very tall, you probably have to go even wider. Some people can go narrow stance. All depends on ankle mobility. I have very flat feet, so my ankle mobility is terrible, hence I go for the wide stance. So here, one of the biggest things to make sure you do is keep your chest up, look up or straight forward. Again, similar to deadlift, to make sure your spine doesn't come out of position. You want to keep a neutral spine, keep your shoulders back. Again, I'd always suggest coming down to parallel. Don't go any further than that if you can't handle it. Personally, if I go much below parallel, I get what's called the butt wink, where my hips actually twist a bit and it puts a lot of stress on my lower back. If you can't go all the way down to parallel, just focus on stretching, go as deep as you can, feel comfortable. When you come down in the squat, make sure you try and drive up through your heels, not your toes, and keep it nice and planted. In terms of holding the bar, I like to take the bar, hold the bar quite wide. The bar will be marked with sort of ring marks, and that's where I tend to hold it with each hand. And then in terms of placement of the bar on my back, I like to have it just below my traps, so it sits nice and firm there. Just try and find where that feels comfortable for you, and that you feel in a comfortable position. You can control the weight and hold it securely and drive it up from the bottom of the squat and control it at the top. This is the real mass builder in terms of overall body mass, strength, power, and is a good leg developer overall. Next up, we have got, for exercise number 2, leg press. Here I'm showing a narrow stance. This is my preference if you're looking to try and get more of a quad sweep. It works very, very well. What I'd like to try and do here is try and push again through your heels, similar to the squat. Don't push through your toes. Bring the plate down, the leg press as far as you can until your spine starts to curl up. Don't come down beyond that point. So you want to bring the plate down so your knees are coming back, so you bring the legs down, but then don't come down to the point past where the bottom of your hips, your spine starts to curve up again. It's similar to the butt wink technique in squatting. So keep it nice and controlled, drive through the heels, control the negative, power back up. Leg press squats, you want to put on a lot of weight on these, focus on getting stronger, and you will improve your legs, and that's guaranteed. Exercise number 3, we have the hack squat. I've actually moved away a little bit from the leg press and squatting because I find the hack squat is working much better in terms of focusing much more on my quads rather than my glutes and hamstrings, which I'm quite dominant with. So in terms of the hack squat, again, you want to drive through your heels. I like to have my feet a little bit wider, have them quite high up on the foot plate, mainly because my ankle mobility is quite poor. If you can, have your feet lower and more to the middle of the plate on the hack squat, and this will work a lot more of your quads and take out more of the hamstring and glutes. Unfortunately, I don't have the ankle mobility for that, so I tend to go wider with my feet higher up on the hack squat plate. So again, I like to hold the pads around the shoulders, drive up, power up from the bottom. One of the good parts of hack squat is you can do it without squatting. If you fail, you will get pinned to the machine, which I have done plenty of times, but you're not really going to hurt yourself. Whereas if you fail and bottom out in the squat and you've got no one there spotting you, you are in serious trouble. So this is a great exercise. It's also very good if you tend to have lower back issues. There's a lot less stress on the lower back, so that's why I am a big fan of the hack squat. Up next, we have safety bar squat. It looks more complicated than it is, to be fair. It's quite a natural movement. I'm a big advocate of this. I like to rotate 3 different squatting movements, so you wouldn't just do barbell squats all the time. Safety bar squats do work very, very well. So here again, you want to squat down in terms of a normal range of motion, so just around parallel. I tend to go a bit of a narrower stance here, tends to feel more comfortable. One of the beauties of the safety bar squat is it has the weight a lot further forward in your position on your body in terms of when you're coming down with the weight. So when you're at the bottom position, the bar is actually sitting a lot further forward in terms of where the weight loaded, which then puts more stress and pressure on the quads rather than the glutes and hamstrings. So this works really nicely. Again, you want to try and drive through the heels, don't drive through the toes. Keep chest nice and lifted, don't look down, because that will keep the spine in a nice position. So keep looking straight forward or look up slightly. And with your hands on the safety bar squat with the handles, always try and keep your hands up, keep the bar pressed up. So don't pull the handles down, try and keep them pressed up, and that will keep it nice and secure and controlled for you. So again, tempo wise, control the negative and explode out the hole, out the bottom, but with control. Now lastly up, as the quad finisher, we have leg extensions. Now this is a phenomenal exercise. You can do this similar as I've talked about before with cable flies and a lot of cable work with other body parts. You can do this at the start of the movement as a pre-exhaust, which I recently did training with Dorian Yates a few days ago, and I'm still feeling the effects. Or you can do it right at the end to absolutely burn out and finish your legs. Or you can do both if you're really fucked up. So here what I like to do is try and make sure you get a full range of motion on the way down. So really you should get a full stretch to the quad at the bottom, and then explode up, and then control the negative on the way down. So when you get to the top of the movement on a leg extension, you want almost the toes to be pointing back a little bit. Keep the quads nice and squeezed and controlled. Hold that contraction at the top for a split second, and then bring the bar back down. Make sure when you set up in the leg extension machine that you're in the correct position, you've got the back paddle in the correct position. Make sure you're nice and comfortable. Also make sure you warm up properly for this. So if you can do this first exercise, don't go in and max that out first set, because it can be a lot of pressure on the knees. But this is a great exercise to isolate the quads. It's really, really good. You can go to massive failure. Phenomenal for doing drop sets, rest pause sets. You can get your partner to push you through partials, negatives, all sorts of bits and pieces. So very, very good exercise, and it is very, very painful. So I would highly suggest having lots of leg extensions in there. So these are my top 5 exercises for building big quads, building some big wheels. Let me know your thoughts, guys. Any other exercises you find work for you, anything else you want in video content in terms of bringing up your quads, please do let me know. Please subscribe to the channel, please let me know your thoughts. Peace out.